One of the biggest purchases you'll make as a homeowner are your shades and blinds. It's hard to know who's any good, and it's not like you get to spend a bunch of time with these in your home before you buy them. As I went through the process of trying to find smart shades that fit our home, I found myself feeling overwhelmed. There were so many choices, most of them were really expensive, and very few people I knew really enjoyed their smart shades. And there are a number of reasons that I'm going to share with you today that I ended up here with these Lutron Serena shades. No one's paying me to say anything about these. This is just coming from a place of wanting to share a great experience with you, and I get to share how I've automated my life. Let's get it. These are a roller version of what are called Lutron Serena shades. They are powered by a number of D-cell batteries, and those batteries will give me 7 years of battery life. One of the most exciting things about these is how quiet they are. Ready? That's as loud as it gets. There's almost nothing there. And with these little remotes, I can turn it around. I can run it up and down. You can see how fast the response is. The downstairs shades have a black fascia over them, but my upstairs ones have a fabric version that matches the color we picked. These are blackout shades too, so I like to control the brightness levels in my space completely. And just in regards to the fabric itself, this is pretty well chosen material. You can't scuff it up, you can't mark it, or at least I haven't yet. Both sides of it, very nice and durable too. So it's not just the front, and then the back side's gonna look real ugly. I was able to pick through I think it was like 100 different colors of fabric. So you have lots of options, and I'll talk about how I made that decision. Look at how easy it is to open this up. And by the way, this is how you get to the batteries. So they're tucked up under there. If I want, I can remove that fully, but that's the level of sophistication without any sort of difficulty getting into it. And I do think it's important to see where it stops at the bottom. I love that there's almost no light coming through here, and I love that I can adjust where this is and get that right up against this if I want. You can purchase some accessories, and I would say one of the biggest benefits are these little remotes. Some of them look complex, and some of them are simple like this one, but they all have a 10-year battery life. You could place them all over your home, on pedestals, on walls, or just sitting on a table or counter next to you. All of the shades and the remotes connect to a Lutron hub that sits in my basement and is connected to my home network. Now that hub, it's very different than most of the other smart home hubs you might have tried or you might have heard people talk about. I'll explain in a little bit, but let's go to the studio and get into some of the reasons that I chose this over so many competitors. You know, the biggest problem with smart products today is that they aren't 100% reliable. If someone says they're going to connect smart shades or blinds to your home's Wi-Fi, walk away. It's not going to be reliable. Now, what Lutron does is they use 433 megahertz signals to and from their hub. That means the shades, these remotes, and all of their wonderful light switches and dimmers. I've used lots of their light switches and remotes. They have perfect reliability. That's not something you get elsewhere with smart shades. I don't say those kinds of things lightly either, guys. In fact, I'm going to ask anyone here, if you've had problems with Lutron products, go ahead, say so in the comments, and then the rest of you can see if there's any have come up. One of the other big problems with smart gear is that you can buy something and it won't work with another product you have in your home. Understand that I have yet to find a system that does not work with Lutron. I mean that from both a DIY smart home perspective where you build your own like I do, and then a lot of the professional systems too. they all work with this. Now let me show you a few of the options you have. You've already seen my first Pico remote. I can move things with that, but you can see another format right there. So with this one, they have the up and the down. So I can go all the way up. And I just took off this face plate. There are full face plates. You can fully install this on your wall. I've just temporarily done this until I'm sure that this is where I want this one to go. But you can totally move this around your home. See how that's going to 50%? That's a 50% button. This is moving through the shade just 1% at a time. And at any time, I can start the process of going down and go back up. This is one of my favorite methods. This is called my homey dashboard. That button is gonna close every blind in my home on its own, but I don't have to close it like that. I can actually control them individually right here. And look at how fast the response is on that. So it's gone to 38% open, just as I wanted, and all my other shades are closed. As with everything today, I can control them using Amazon's voice assistant. Close kitchen window.
Okay.
And again, that was so fast of a response from Amazon, which is traditionally pretty slow. One of the best ways to control Lutron shades is from an iPhone. Watch how fast this response is. It's instantaneous. It is absolutely amazing how fast you can control it. I just did a review of this one. This is my SwitchBot universal remote, and yes, I can control my shades with this. If I'd like to set different buttons to put it at different percentages, I could do that too. When I spoke about reliability and the fact that these are ubiquitous, this is just stuff I knew from years of working with smart home gear. So Lutron was already on my radar when I started this process, but the other side of the decision came from some of the ways that Lutron has built the process for how you purchase these. It was really easy to go on the Serena Shades website, go through the configuration process. Where I became personally lost was in picking a fabric. What do I know about this? Now, I knew I wanted the battery version, I knew I wanted blackout curtains or shades, and I knew I wanted the mount inside of the frame instead of outside, and I knew how to take measurements. So I was ready to take on the install and do all of those things, but I honestly couldn't make a decision on color. Now, the really neat thing about the website is at the end of the process, if you're unsure like me, I was able to ask for a referral to someone to help me with design. It didn't cost me anything. They called me within a couple of days. And the lady I worked with, she's named Lori. She's with a company called Budget Blinds here in Canada. Now, when she came to my home, she brought all the different fabric types, all the different options that we would have, and she walked me through how that would all work in my home. The color selection was so valuable for me. It was like having a designer here telling me what I could do in the future if I bought different shades or different styles. It led me down a path of staying fairly neutral with these colors, but that was actually such great advice, and I'm so happy we went this way. And you know, everybody will ask this. I think the install cost was something like 150 bucks. After all that, we did have a problem. I went into my kid's room and I was playing with the shades and renaming things in the app because I wanted to do that stuff. But I heard this little tick in the shade as it was moving. I called Lori. She came back in a couple hours. She couldn't explain the sound, and I kid you not, Lutron had sent a new one out within a month. It was reinstalled by Alec in about 10 minutes too. That's the biggest problem I had with the entire process. That's also the biggest problem I've had with the shades. It's actually the only problem. And that sounds scary, but when we got it off the wall, the shade was totally fine. It was just a little piece of packaging on the inside stuck there. All of this is to say that Lutron heard the sound in a video. They responded and sent me a new one within a month. They didn't know what was wrong, but it didn't matter. And you know, I don't want to date myself too much, but this is what it felt like to buy things in the 90s for those of you who aren't as old as dirt like I am. People used to warranty things and they would fix them whether it was really a big problem or not. And otherwise, the quality has been so high. For those of you who watch Automate Your Life regularly, you know I really get into it when we have a battery powered motor. Well, these ones are perfect. They're silent, they're strong. I haven't heard one sound or one moment that I would worry about these motors. And the materials on the shade, they feel really high quality. They haven't changed since the day I got them. And that's the biggest thing to me. I want them to feel and work exactly the same for the next 10 to 20 years as they did here on day one. Now I could go on forever about the different aspects of this, but depending on the level of control you want and how much you want to manage the shade level in your home, you can actually do that. So I'm going to show you what happens with my Homey Hub. I'm not even done this automation. I probably won't be for a little bit. I want to tinker. But this automation takes into account our humidity level in the home, whether it's hot or cold outside, and how warm we are in the home. Plus, takes into account the time of day, how much sun there is, and all of that goes into making a decision as to whether or not we open the shades. And it all happens automatically. What I'm trying to tell you is that you can control them for energy efficiency like I have, or you can control them based on light levels. It's up to you. And because this is ubiquitous, reliable, customizable, and so easy to use, I haven't found anything like this anywhere else on the market, and I have been searching for quite a while. So you can check out all the links below. They'll take you to Lutron's Serena Shade website. Again, they're not paying me to send you there. I'm not getting any money for this. If you're in the market for shades or blinds, I'd definitely check them out. They have some nice wood blinds as well as some honeycomb and the roller shades that I have. If you like that dashboard that you saw me move those shades with, you can check those videos out right there. Otherwise, thanks for watching today, and of course, live smart.